filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Reading of the minutes.
Motion to dispense reading the minutes.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. This time I'd ask Mr. Commissioner Marlowe if he would come forward. I'm going to come down and do a proclamation if I can. Before I get there, Commissioner McFarland, I know you have an announcement to make.
Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, please do it here. Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, I, along with Terry Ash and many others, Mr. Kurtz and others, members, veterans, members of Wilson Warriors, and this is our fundraising season today, and it's to help veterans year-round, what the purpose of raising funds are. Today they had their golf tournament on the weekend, not next, but the weekend after that on the 28th. They're having a gala at the Mill, and then on the 7th of December, the Christmas breakfast at the Armory. But I've got tickets for the Mill, for the gala. It's a formal event. If any veteran here wants to go and bring a beautiful bride, I'll have tickets up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McFarland. At this time, Ms. Melanie Minter and anyone that you'd like to bring with you from the chamber, if you would come forward. This year, if you, unless you're under a rock, you would realize that it's the 100th year celebration for the Chamber of Commerce. I believe she has been with her team to all 3 cities already and had this proclamation read. But we're here. Please come forward and stand with us up here. To read a proclamation that honors the Chamber for what they've done over the last 100 years. And so it's my honor to read that proclamation to you. And it goes, the Wilson County Chamber of Commerce was chartered in September of 1924 by a group of businessmen who wanted to form an organization who would work for the betterment of their community. Beginning with 60 members, 7 board members, the early issues were better roads, better schools, toll roads and bridges, growth, and economic development. Whereas the Chamber has grown tremendously through the years under the direction of 100 presidents, chairman of the board, 21 board members, 5 staff members, 7 divisions, which are membership engagement, ambassadors, special events, education, economic development, sports council, and government relations. Whereas the Chamber's mission is to coordinate the talents and energies of businesses, industry, and individuals to make Wilson County a better place to live, work, and raise a family, with a vision to foster an environment in which a unified Wilson County can realize a prosperous future. They have done well. Whereas the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber serves and represents interests of over 1,600 businesses of all sizes and the resources and tools needed to maximize business success. It exists to serve its members and the community, including welcoming tourists, new members to Wilson County and its cities, identifying public issues by avoiding purely partisanship, I can't say it, political issues, wonder why. The Chamber helps to create job opportunities through the stimulation of county industry and commercial growth while encouraging the improvement of community facilities and development of human resources. It is the community liaison and communicating business and community information for Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Watertown, providing the members with the significant promotional services and tools. The Chamber of Commerce remains the most trusted source of information on local businesses and services and the most dependable ally in commerce. Whereas the leadership of the 2024 Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce is as follows. The 100th Chairman, Mr. J. Rob Coggins. Ann Isabel, Greg Butler, Matt Grecke, Bob Zinker, Philip Vance, Dr. Mark Hansen, Scott McCarver, Becky Kegley, Heather Stafford, Lynn Williams, Corey McDonald, Kenny Salas, Matthew Ryan, James Newble, James Danella, Christine New, Brandon Wagner, DJ Woods, Debbie Lowe, Wes Dugan, President and CEO Melanie Minter, Vice President Membership Finance Andrea Wilkie, Marketing Director and Communications as well, Sarah Perry, Office Coordinator Caitlin Watson, and Support Administrator Stephanie Hollis. Now, therefore, Randall Hutto, Wilson County Mayor, do hereby proclaim, along with the County Commission, August the 16th, 2024, as the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce Day in Wilson County. On behalf of the citizens, we honor and thank the Chamber for 100 years of dedicated service and your unwavering support that continues to move our county forward, and we're excited about the future. Congratulations.
Short speech. I'm going to make this real easy and simple, and I'm just going to say thank you, Mayor Hutto, for having us here tonight, and you as County Commission. It is truly a blessing that the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce have served Wilson County for over 100 years. Thank you for your continued support. We appreciate all of you and each of you with everything you do for our county. As always, it has been an honor to be a partner with you. I do want to thank my staff, and I do want to thank the chairman of the board here, Jarab, and Greg Butler as treasurer for being here tonight, as well as Fernando, who was with us as an intern at Cumberland University. So thank you all so much for having us here. We appreciate you, and we are all better together.
Super short. You know, I have the honor of being the chairman for this 100 years, and I just wanted to put that in perspective. I think we're about to celebrate a birthday for Wilson County of 225 years. So for over 100 years, the Wilson County, Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce has been a partner. So I'm looking forward to for that partnership to continue for another 100 plus. So thank you all for having us here tonight.
Thank you. We also would like to thank you for our refreshments tonight. That is good, and I know it provides lunch for the office staff for the next 3 or 4 days, so thank you for that. This time, I would like to ask Mr. Chris Luber if he would come forward to the podium in the front to address the County Commission. Just a reminder, you asked us last month to make sure that the money that we gave to the water authorities, you kind of had an explanation, so we're starting tonight with the Wilson County Water and Wastewater Authority. Next month, we'll do Gladeville, then LaGuardia, West Wilson, and then we'll finish up with DTC and United Communications over the next several months to give you an explanation of where those dollars that you provided for them went and how their progress is going. Mr. Luber, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Hutto and County Commissioners. I'd like to just introduce Don Chambers, our chairman of the board. He'd like to say a few words before I give you the update on all the funding. Don.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, I'm Don Chambers. I am chairman of the board of the Water Authority. I have been on that board since 1975 when it was an inception by Central Rochelle. We started at nothing, zero. Since then, we've had 3 directors in place. Most of the people that lived in Wilson County at that time, west of or east of Highway 231, didn't have water. We now have 10,000 customers that we're serving. Just like anybody else, we have problems that happen, and you have to address those problems and solve them. And I'll have to say our 3 directors we've had have done a good job over that many years to do that. We're in the business to furnish water to anybody in Wilson County that we can feasibly do it. We've been a pay-as-you-go organization. We don't take on a lot of debt for things that we can't demonstrate the ability to pay it back. Chris has done a great job, and I'm going to let him explain to you what we're dealing with now.
Thank you, Don. Yeah, we've got 350 miles of distribution main on the drinking water side now in the eastern portion of Wilson County. So I've been asked to give an update on the ARP funds. there's a number of pots of ARP funds. The primary one we'll talk about to begin with is the ARP funds allocated directly from the U.S. Treasury to Wilson County government to you all. So the authority provided a needs list of 12 priority projects to the county, and the Wilson County government approved the $5 million ARP funds to the authority for us to use to build infrastructure. So you understand that the process, basically, the process we go through is we have to get easements from property owners, go into engineering design. Engineering design plans need to then be submitted to TDEC before we can do any construction. TDEC needs to approve those plans. Then we do competitive bidding for the construction projects, and then those contracts are awarded by our Board of Commissioners. They make those decisions to award those contracts. Then we start the project construction, pressure testing, bacteriological testing, and then the acceptance of the project. So there's a process we have to go through to bring these projects to fruition. So I'll go through each one of the 12 projects, and if you get bored to death and you want me to stop, I'll gladly stop, okay? But each one of the projects, the first one is the Hearn Hill Water Storage Tank. The site has been located. You know, we have to be at a high elevation for that tank. We've had preliminary discussions with the property owner. We're beginning the engineering designs now. Shorter Road water line connection line. All easements have been acquired. Engineering designs being completed and will be submitted to TDEC for their approval within a few weeks. Poplar Hill Tank Rehabilitation. We have to complete the shorter line project first to bring water over from Lebanon's 4-mile tank to feed that area in order to take our Poplar Hill tank out of service. Cole Lane Tank Line Connector. This will also serve about a dozen additional properties that don't have access to public water supply. All easements have been acquired. Engineering design plans have been submitted to TDEC. They will be submitted this week. Advertisement for bid for construction, you should see it on Wednesday. Go out for advertisement to bid and build that construction. And that will also relieve the pressure issue up on Ford Road. The Carthage Highway Trisville Ferry Pike Connector Line, we're presently in negotiations for easement acquisitions. Roberts Road Line and Pumping Station, yeah, it's complicated engineering designs. Originally, we were looking at that and also the Shop Springs Road, but once we got the notice of violation from Shop Springs Road, we just went full bore on Shop Springs Road. In fact, that project is advertised the bid now to be about $350,000 pump station to resolve the low pressure issue up on Shop Springs Road. That line was installed back in the 80s to get water to people that didn't have access to the public water supply. The Roberts Road water line and pumping station, that's what we just talked about, and we need to get easements once we get an idea of how we're going to design that project. Clever Creek Road water line. So we will make available water to about 30 properties out in Clever Creek. We have 16 of the 30 needed easements. They have been acquired and recorded. And some of the owners of properties out there don't want public water, and they will not provide us an easement. So we'll have to address that. It's interesting, you get out in those rural areas, you get some pretty severe opposition, even though most people do want access to public water supply. Next one, Young Road water line. This project's completed. We've had 2 customers come in and buy taps now to have access to public water supply. St. John's water line, so construction's underway. The county line, water line, no action, Knee Road, and Ossip Mill Road, that's correct. No action's been taken so far. We've got to get a pretty good feel of how far the $5 million are going to go before we address those, and all those system upgrades need to be put in place to serve additional customers. So that's the ARP funds from the U.S. Treasury to the county. So in addition, we have the non-competitive TDEC ARP funds. And with that, we have our Advanced Metering Integration Project, $2.4 million project, of which $1 million is going to be grant funds directly coming from TDEC. That project's completed except for some minor programming, and those grant funds have been requested from TDEC. The scope of that project is new metering technology, improve long-term accuracy of the metering devices, no need to manually read water meters anymore, hourly consumption data transmitted via cellular 3 times a day to our office, customer portal will monitor their own water usage, customer notification and continuous flow indicating potential leakage. To date, we've saved customers thousands of dollars on identifying customer-side breaks, keeping those water bills low. The next pot of money, since we were getting kind of good at understanding these ARP funds, is we focused on grant writing. So we went after what they call competitive TDEC ARP funds from TDEC. The governor said, hey, I'm putting this pot of money out there. We want utilities to compete with innovative projects for this money. So we were awarded 2 projects. One is called the Regionalization Project. Contract amount about $7.7 million. And we were one of only 14 recipients of that grant in the state of Tennessee. The awarded grant amount coming to us is about $7.3 million. And with this, we're going to replace our Sparta Pike pump station, which is the heart of our system, but it was all built back in the Spring Creek utility system many, many years ago, before the authority was even established. We're going to do water line extensions. Our infrastructure sits between numerous bodies of water. So we're going to do water line extensions to DeKalb Utility District, Alexandria Water Works, Hartsville Water and Sewer Utility District, Smith UD, and Lagarda Utility District. And when we do that, that's for resilience, so we can move water from different bodies of water in Wilson County. The next, and also to purchase a portion of the Alexandria Water Works system that exists in Wilson County. And then the last competitive TDEC ARP funds was for a water reuse project. And this is a study project, contract amount $170,000, and the authority has awarded one of only 8 contracts for water reuse in the state of Tennessee. The award grant amounts $120,000. So this is an investigation and planning to look at using non-potable water reuse issues in reference to doing things like irrigation for farmers, commercial, industrial type applications, homeowners, school and institutions. And the water for irrigation is, we're going to look at it coming off our decentralized wastewater systems within our drinking water service area. If the reuse program shows to be cost-effective, then we hope to develop a master plan and a guidance document to move forward with that for developers. So we got those 3 different pots of money. We got lots of work to do, and hopefully you understand the process that we have to go through to implement these projects. I'll be glad to answer any questions the commissioners might have.
Before we start with questions, I want to ask one thing right quick. If you will, push your panel so I'll know who to call on. The 2 grants that we are a part of, one was the $5 million that you guys gave, and the second one was the utility companies came to us and said there's TDEC money out there if we would apply for it through our office, and so Christy Willie in our office applied for that. It was actually $5 million. $1 million went to each one of the utility districts, and $579,000 went to the stormwater department, and that money could be used on things that already existed. The $5 million that you gave them at the beginning had to be for new water lines, okay? So just to clear up, the last 2 he talked about, we didn't have any say-so in any of those, and Commissioner McFarland, I'll go to you first.
I would just ask Chris, when do you think the property will be resolved?
So the 2 main concerns we have are the low pressure, and that's the one up on Shop Springs Road, okay? That project's going to be bid, it's out to bid starting Wednesday, basically. So the NOV is asking us to complete the project by January. So if equipment's available, you have to get pumps, things like that, it'll be on schedule. So if you can't get the equipment, then that's a different story. But so that'll be out to bid. We'll probably have a board meeting within about a month. Okay, so we can evaluate the bids and the board can award the contract. Contractor normally has, a few months to complete the work from there on. And then the other one on Ford Road, so the other one on Ford Road will come through the Cole Lane project, the Trizell Ferry Dam. The Cole Lane project is to get more capacity to Trizell Ferry's tank, is what it is. Our tanks, during those peak demands, we're not gaining. We need to gain, especially during this dry weather conditions. But that's a higher pressure zone. We pump up to it, so we can bleed off of Big Springs to bleed back over into the lower pressure zone over on Ford Road. We have, one or two customers up there in Ford Road again at that, where the Water Authority years ago ran water so people had access to drinking water. And then since then, we've had, EPA regulations. You got to turn your tanks over so you don't get disinfection byproduct issues. Well, as you lower your tanks, your pressures get lower. So you trade off pressure for, for water quality type things.
You think 6 months, 9 months?
That's our plan. And as the bids get awarded and we see equipment deliveries, then we'll have to update. We have to keep TDEC updated every month on those two, because the 20 PSI is not a federal requirement. It's something that TDEC set, and other states have too, to get a minimum level of service. If you got positive pressure, you're not going to have a cross connection. But 20, 19, 18, whatever, they set it at 20. We have to comply.
Commissioner Kurtz?
Mr. Luber and Mr. Chambers, I do appreciate y'all coming tonight, and
Sure.
It's not always nice to make you feel like you're on the hot seat at all. I don't think this commission feels that way, although 6 years ago I started this conversation with the Water Board and Mr. Luber and Mr. Rochelle about Cole Lane, and I'll be honest, I didn't know how much was involved in it. I just needed 3 miles from here. And I preach that all the time. And 3 miles from where we're sitting, there's people without water, which kind of, it does blow my mind a little bit, but I didn't know how much was involved. And I'm going to end this with the question. 6 years ago, we're down, I sense we're there, but I thought we were going to be there 2 years ago, and the money's there, but the project's not complete. So I hear it's going out for bid. Mm-hmm. From the time it goes out for bid till construction, till we see some digging going on, and then we see, I know the Bowens and I don't know who else is here on Cole Lane, but the McPeaks and others that live out there get water. What are we looking at? And I'm not going to hold you to an exact date, but
Yeah, and the Cole Lane, we've been after that project for, like you say, for a number of years, and we actually went after it for community development block grant programs, try to get grant funds in there because the wells were contaminated. And because of the low unemployment in Wilson County, high per capita income just knocks us out. So we haven't got any kind of stuff like that since we did Statesville many, many years ago down there. So this allows us to do it with your funds, and again, we greatly appreciate those dollars. So the process is very, very similar to Shop Springs Road. Cole Lane, the plans are going to TDEC. It's advertised to bid, and the board, they will give them, 3 weeks or so to get the bids in, take us about a week to evaluate, because construction bids are generally low bid, as long as you got a good contractor that's got good references. So we'll have a board meeting, award that contract, hopefully within about a month. And typically, you have maybe 2 weeks as you work with the contractor, get all the paperwork in to give a notice to proceed. And then, they probably have 120 days, but hopefully we can get it done sooner than that. But the goal is, again, January. Is what we're trying to go after for it. Again, it's going to be ductile iron pipe delivery and that kind of stuff. Where does it go from there? But
January, that people can come in and purchase a tap. That's the goal.
yeah, that would be the goal. Now, reality could be later, it could be into the spring. But once that gets out to bid and TDEC approves the plans, then it's a go.
Thank you.
Mr. and Ms. Bowman, I think I came to your house. I was supposed to come at lunch, and I couldn't get there. I came about 5:30 on Friday afternoon. I think you guys were gone, but I will give you a call tomorrow on the other issues you talked to me about. Commissioner Franklin?
Yeah, I just got a simple question. In the case of
Give you an easement, do you use eminent domain?
So I've been with the Water and Wastewater Authority since 2000 and 6, I guess, I think, after spending a lot of years in consultancy world with water utilities. But since that point in time, we only did condemnation one time for a water line where we had to do a connection between two pipes. Since I've been here, we've never done condemnation to provide water to unserved areas. But we've always had to fund with our own bond funds. So this scenario could be different. So our own bond funds, if you don't want water out there, we're going to go someplace else. Okay? We want the community involved. In this case, there could be a possibility. If we run a risk of losing bond funds, I don't make that decision. Our Board of Commissioners would have to make that decision if we're going to do condemnation. Condemnation stirs up a lot of negativity out there. So hopefully we can sit and talk with the customer, potential customer, or maybe never a customer, to make them realize that you've got to give us an easement if you're ever going to have access to public water supply. But they like to try to block the project. That's the reality in the rural areas.
Commissioner Dow?
I was just wondering, what takes it so long to put it out to bid?
It doesn't take it long to put it out to bid, that process. The time it takes a lot of processes is getting those customers out there to give the easements. Now, Cole Lane moved pretty good, and Mike helped us, just like Sarah Patton helped us a lot years ago. I was up here, last time I was up here, I was with Sarah Patton. And I think we were being appreciated for getting water in the Statesville area. But the key with that was really Sarah Patton. She, our county commissioner, went out there and met with those individuals. And we didn't have opposition. Things are a little bit different today, I guess, in reference to opposition.
Problem then, and so is that the whole problem? Is these people that come to the mine, they're waiting on water.
They are.
That's not your problem.
No.
Okay, so what's going to help them? I didn't get a good answer a while ago. Tell me again, how are you going to help them?
So the ones, I think most of the people that came were Clever Creek, we've got Shop Springs, and Ford Road. And so Roberts Road, yep, and Roberts Road is in that funding profile. They're all in the funding profile that are in here. And Roberts Road it is a priority. We've been trying to figure out Roberts Road for some time. That's a complicated area out there for the engineers, but I don't know if I answered your question yet. Ask it to me again. I want to answer it.
How are you going to help them, and how quick can you get them help?
So Cole Lane and Ford Road and Shop Springs Road, we just answered. We're shooting for basically 6 months there. And what was in Clever Creek, come in my office and let me show you who's not going to give us easements. And you go knock on their door and say, hey, I'd like to have access to public water supply. Please give us an easement.
Commissioner Denton?
Yes, what I'm hearing our folks say that's here tonight is they're wondering, there were some pretty strong allegations made tonight. They're wondering how to get access to someone to deal with them. The commission says we can't do it, yet we appointed them. So where do they go
They come
to
to
talk
our-
to somebody to get to the bottom of it? And why has it taken 6 years to get to the 6-month level? Why hasn't it moved that fast before? Now, when the heat's on, we start to move. They do have legitimate questions, sounds like, and in my case, when the city wanted to go by my house, they didn't ask me if I wanted to let them go through. They just decided to do it. And they've done that on many things here. And so I don't understand why that one person could hold up a public water system like that when they can under other like county or city.
Yeah, so the city owns the roads, so they have easy access to go in the roads if they so desire. And we can look at that option too. We have to work with the road commission in reference to getting in the roads and on our water mains. But that's another option we can look at. And And then as far as where to go,
Go-to,
yeah, I mean, where to go is we have a board of commissioners, and Don Chambers is the board of commissioners. That's on the website. You can always come talk to them. Typically, they'll come sit down and talk with me and the engineer, but they can bring it up to the board of commissioners. And as far as the compliance part, so, you know, when at those high elevations, when, for example, WEMA gets on a fire hydrant and they pull those, we don't provide fire protection. We provide safe drinking water. But when WEMA's on a fire hydrant, just gravity flow, pulling, you know, 300-400 gallons a minute, and our total, like Trisville Ferry, the total capacity is 300. I mean, you know, you're pulling those high elevations out of water. They're not going to have any pressure up there. That's just the way it is when you're trying to serve water in non-served areas and rural waters. We're not an urban system that's interlooped like the city of Lebanon. We have all these branches, 6-inch mains. Friction loss just eats it up when you pull it out of this fire hydrant. And there's a number of you in here understand that. So many times, or if we have a water main break, you know, which is naturally occurs, the water main breaks occur, and it takes the high elevations out of water. Well, when we get those calls, a lot of times that's what's associated with. But if we don't think it is, then we take some technology out there and put what we call a data logger in and data log the pressure. Once you data log the pressure and it's showing continuous pressure and it doesn't meet the 20 PSI requirement, that's when we have to take corrective action.
Commissioner Hall?
I was reading one of the letters that the state sent, and it said if you're aware of any other areas in the system that pressures are lower than the required 20 PSI, make the department aware of that as well. Are there any other areas in Wilson County at least?
There may be, but we don't have any other recorded data of continuous issues with below 20 PSI.
So you're not aware of any at least?
I'm not aware of any. I'm not saying there isn't any out there. I mean, when I was here, I didn't know Ford Road, when I first came on board, I had no clue Ford Road or Shop Springs Road didn't maintain 20 PSI.
Right.
So there could be, yes. But going forward, when we design now, and that's part of the problem in Roberts Road years past, is we want water, we want water. We have to have a pump station or people at the end of our line saying, we want water. It ends right there. It's like, no, we go up that elevation, you know, for every 2.31 feet of elevation is one PSI pressure. So you go up like that, sorry, we can't maintain 20 PSI. You're going to have to put a pump station in to do that. So high elevations, great views, but bad water pressure.
My next question was, you talked about how you were getting the bids out, and then you're going to have a board meeting to approve those bids. When's your next board meeting?
So our next scheduled board meeting is this Thursday.
Okay.
And what we'll probably do, since we know they've been out advertised for bids, they'll have due dates on them, okay, is that we'll give about a week after that, coordinate with our board members on Thursday to be sure they're available, and then we'll set another regular scheduled board meeting, and then at that board meeting, we can award those contracts.
Okay, so you'll set special meetings to award them? Like you're not bound to the quarterly meeting schedule?
No, we're not bound to. Normally, we'd have a quarterly meeting like in January.
Right.
Okay, but I mean, we can move it up to November. You have to do public notice and everything and do work at that time. And we can have more than 4 board meetings a year, you know, if we do. And that's been typical if we have to award a contract. We're not going to delay awarding a contract because we don't have a scheduled board meeting. We can call a special board meeting, yes.
Commissioner Bowman?
Hey, there you are.
Thank you guys for being here tonight and answering our questions. Ford Road is in District 6, and I have spoken with Mr. Davis and listened to the issues he's been facing over the last 6 years. And so my question, Chris, is really pretty simple. I understand you shared that you will have to submit some type of report to TDEC monthly in regards to Ford Road.
Yes.
Is that something that you can share with me each month when you submit that,
Sure.
so I can keep Mr. Davis updated
Absolutely.
on what is on the progress of Ford Road?
Be glad to, yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And secondarily, while I have you both here, I would just like to comment on another situation in my district. Back in May, we had a catastrophic main break in District 6 that affected multiple roads. And I want to commend Mr. Chris Benzinger and the crew that responded to that main break. They stayed in water that was treacherous for extended periods of time, risking what I felt like was their safety, trying to mitigate that catastrophic main break. They worked around the clock for over 2 days to repair that break so residents could have water again. And so I do want to commend Mr. Benzinger and the crew that responded to that catastrophic break. I believe there had not been anything like that in the course of 15 years that had happened in the county. And so I did want to take a moment to commend that response to that.
Thank you. I'll pass it along. Yeah.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes, sir, Mr. Member. My question is, this body awarded y'all $5 million of the ARP money for a list of projects you brought forward to us that we assumed that you could complete with that. Can you tell us how many of those projects are you going to complete on time and utilize those funds? Because there's a time limit of June of 26, Mayor? Is that
I think it's December of 2026.
December of 26?
Way I can answer that?
You're halfway in and hadn't touched the ground yet.
Yeah.
And we hate to give those funds back to the federal government.
Oh, and we don't want them to disappear from us having access to them. So, yeah, the $5 million would be spent by that time period in 2026.
But are you going to complete the projects that you proposed to us?
I don't know if we'll complete
That's not
all 12 of
You
them.
proposed it to us. You proposed those projects to be completed. And that's my question to you, sir.
That'll be hopefully we will.
I
Okay?
ask you a yes or no question, sir.
So I can commit that the $5 million will be spent by the time period, and we won't have to give anything back. I don't have the authority to allocate more funds to it, but our Board of Commissioners can do that, yes. If, in other words, they came in at $6 million total,
You proposed those when you came and asked for those funds to be able to complete them.
estimated cost, yes.
So what changed?
Yeah, sure, inflation could change it, yes. Maybe the prices will be less and we can do more projects, and I come back and ask you for Project 13. I don't know.
Commissioner Breeze?
My question is a little specific. I've been asked, so I was going to ask you, what is your bid process for engineering design?
So the Water and Wastewater Authority, our bidding policy, and so exemptions for professional services are exempt
Right.
from bidding processes, yes.
Okay. Is there a limit of the amount of money for professional services?
So on the federal guidelines, there is a limit up there. No, not in our purchasing guideline for professional services.
That was my question. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Gentry?
Yeah, I just want to follow up on Commissioner Jones's question about the inflation. I was just wondering, do you have enough money? You had grants, you had a couple grants, you had the $5 million, but you can't intermix those? No. Is that what you're telling me?
No, so all the grant funds are for specific scope. The TDEC grant funds, like the competitive grant funds, those big projects they have specific scopes where I have executed those contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't pull money and change it around, no.
So if you have overruns and expenses for the 12 projects, you're either going to have to vote at the board to add money to that, or you can't finish them, correct?
That would be correct, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Scruggs?
Yes, Chris, I'm District 7, and Shop Spring Road is in my area.
Yes.
Can you keep me informed on that?
I will, be glad to. And I want to say, anytime any commissioner has, and many of you have, you'll call me or you come see me or something like that, always feel free to do that. Please come talk and keep the communications open.
I also have some more roads, Shorter Road, Young Road. Like we got informed on there.
Yeah, so Young Road's done.
Young done?
Done, and they got water.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hall?
Yeah, I just had one more question on a couple of the letters that the state of Tennessee has sent, TDEC, they sent to the Water Authority. One of the statements in there talks about it's a violation for any person, public water system engineer, operator, or laboratory to report any data or information that's inaccurate, misleading, or false because the person recording has not used reasonable care, judgment, or the application of his knowledge in preparation of the report and provide inaccurate or false information to the department. It says that the Water Authority was in violation of that rule. Can you speak to what exactly happened there?
Yeah, so when we were monitoring pressure up on Ford Road, the TDEC inspector came out and I did some monitoring prior. And then we have what we call dry taps. There are 2 dry taps there, so we could set up our data logger, and they set up their data logger to monitor both of them simultaneously. So you can have verification that the numbers are accurate, basically. And then my understanding from the inspector was he wanted me to send that file to him that was corresponded with the time period they monitored. And that's what I sent to him initially. And then he came back and he said, no, I also want the stuff, if you monitor anything before or after, anything else in the area. Then I sent that information to him based off of that letter he had sent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from this body? Mr. Luber, I would just ask a favor, if you could do that. Every couple of weeks, if you could send us an update, if you could send it to our office on things that have been accomplished or questions that were here, we'll get that to the commission so the full commission would know it. I know you've had individual commissioners that have asked for specific information, and that's good, but if you could do that, I think that would keep us moving clear as we go forward, just every couple of weeks if that's possible.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Mr. Goodall, all the notaries good? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve a notary list? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. At this time would be your opportunity to elect a commission chairperson for the next 12 months, and the floor is open for nominations. Oh, my bad. Commissioner Breeze.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Hutto.
Sorry. Other nominations? Thank you. All in favor say aye. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. I know that I don't take it lightly, and I hope that I'm always here to do what you want me to do and lead and guide in a fair way. So thank you for this privilege of doing this. Thank you for that. Now you're to elect a commission chairman pro tem for the next 12 months. Mr. Marlowe is nominated. Do I hear others? Nomination cease. All in favor say aye. Thank you. Commissioner Marlowe, pro tem. This time now we will move to electing a budget and a finance committees. Budget committees, 4 members to be elected. The floor is open now for nominations. And Commissioner Weathers. Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Rich.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Glenn Denton.
Commissioner Glenn Denton. Commissioner Costley.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Tommy Jones.
Commissioner Breeze. Sorry.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Diane Weathers.
Commissioner Weathers. Commissioner McFarland. Gotcha. Commissioner Fields. Commissioner Marlowe. Any other nominations to come before the body? All in favor say aye. This time we'll ask Ms. Dowdy to pass out your sheet. We'll vote for 4 individuals. The opportunities that are there are Commissioner Denton, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Marlowe. You'll nominate 4, please. Please sign your name and your district, if you don't mind, on your ballot. Vote for 4 members: Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Denton, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Weather, or Commissioner Marlowe. Please vote for 4 people: Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Denton, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Marlowe. This is for the Budget Committee. Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Denton, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Weathers, and Commissioner Marlowe. Are all ballots in? All ballots are in.
Smith, Weathers, Jones. Denton, Jones, Weathers, Marlowe. Jones, Marlowe, Weathers, Smith. Smith, Denton, Jones, Weathers. Marlowe, Weathers, Jones, Smith. Denton, Jones, Weathers, Smith. Marlowe, Jones, Weathers, Smith. Smith, Denton, Weathers, Marlowe. Marlowe, Weathers, Smith, Jones. Denton, Marlowe. Smith, Jones, Weathers, Marlowe. Jones, Marlowe, Weathers, Smith. Jones, Denton, Marlowe, Weathers. Weathers, Jones, Marlowe, Smith. Denton, Jones, Weathers, Smith. Weathers, Marlowe, Smith, Jones. Smith, Jones, Marlowe, Weathers. Weathers, Jones, Smith, Marlowe. Marlowe, Jones, Weathers, Denton. Jones, Marlowe, Weathers, Smith. Smith, Jones, Weathers, Marlowe. Smith, Jones, Weathers, Marlowe. Smith, Weathers, Jones, Marlowe. Marlowe, Smith, Weathers, Jones.
Either way. Smith, 20. Denton, 9. Jones, 22. Weathers, 23. Marlowe, 20.
Board budget members will be Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Marlowe, and Commissioner Weathers. Congratulations. Now we'll move forward with the Finance Committee. As the floor is open now for nominations for 4 members there. Commissioner Smith?
Nominate Commissioner Costley.
Commissioner Costley? Commissioner Rich?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Blake Hall.
Commissioner Hall? Commissioner Marlowe?
I'd like to nominate Robert Fields.
Commissioner Fields? Any other nominations? Commissioner Jones?
Ms. Bowman?
Commissioner Bowman? Commissioner Marlowe, do you have another one?
No, I think
No.
I got behind.
No.
Anybody I have not called on needs to be called on? Excuse me? So I've called so far Commissioner Costley has been nominated, Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Bowman, and Commissioner Fields are the 4 that have been nominated so far. I got a motion and a second for nomination to cease. All in favor say aye. Are there any opposed? So just in case, it would reflect that we have 4 nominations, so no need to vote on that. So the Finance Committee would be Commissioner Fields, Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Bowman, and Commissioner Costley. Congratulations for the Finance Committee. Okay. Ethics Committee, you have 5 members to serve here. Your appointment is to serve a 1-year term. This would be upon your confirmation. I'd like to appoint Commissioner Jeremy Rich, Commissioner Jeremy Hobbs, Commissioner Chris Dow, Commissioner Rusty Keith, and Mr. Earl Ray.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion on them? All in favor say aye. Animal Control, you have 5 members to confirm a 2-year appointment here for the committee. I'd like to recommend for your consideration Commissioner Lauren Breeze, Commissioner William Glover, Commissioner Wendell Marlowe, along with Ms. Tina Hunsenpiller and Dr. Chris McAteer.
Motion.
Any discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Wilson County Water and Wastewater Authority, there are 1 member here. The term is expired on that person. At this time, to confirm my appointment of a 5-year term for the Water Authority Board, I'd like to recommend for your consideration Ms. Trevina Holder. A letter of recommendation from the board was in your packet. Floor is open for your thoughts. Commissioner Gentry.
Is he on the board now?
It's a she. She is on the board. She is an attorney. Yes, sir. Commissioner Hall.
Recommendation. The letter of recommendation comes from the director, but is the board not overseeing the director? Wouldn't that be kind of like the school's director picking somebody to be on the school board?
So what the law has today for all of those authorities that come before us is that the board makes a recommendation of 3 people. To me, you'll get that in your packet. They ask us to take the top one unless you guys see some reason for the top one to not be elected. If you see a problem with that one, we go to the second one. If you see a problem with that one, we go to the third one. If you don't like any of the 3 of them, we send it back to that board for another nomination. So those have changed as opposed to where I used to just could find somebody I wanted to put on that board. It really comes as a recommendation from all the boards, West Wilson Utility District, Lagardo, Gladeville, all of them are the same.
That just seems like a conflict to me to have the recommendation come from the person receiving oversight, is my question.
Mike, can you answer anything to that? That is the change of the law, and their board is a hair different in that it's an authority not like the other 3 utility districts. So I think there is some leeway on that one because we've talked about that before back when Mr. Ken and I talked back during the summer about that appointment of that board. But again, it is your call to take this person or not. And I can do a little research more, or Mike can, on that. But that was what I was given because before we had made those appointments, somehow some conversation was had about not doing that or me picking someone else, and they said that has to come from their board, their boards now. And I can get the law on that. But
Yeah, what I was looking for is, I don't know whether, and he can answer the question, whether Mr. Luber makes that recommendation or whether the board does, and then he passes it along to you. I don't know.
Mr. Luber, can you just speak to that from where you're at? Does the board make the recommendation to you?
So the appointment is, the county mayor makes the appointment and the county commission confirms. Historically, what's happened is, I would send a letter, executive director would send a letter that, this person's in good standing, they attend board meetings, blah, blah, blah. That person's would be a good appointment, but it's up to the county mayor to make that nomination and the county commission to confirm it.
Do you have any input from your board? Do you have any input from your board on that recommendation to us, Mr. Luber?
I do not.
You do not? Okay. Does that answer your question, Mr. Hall?
I think so,
Okay. Commissioner Chandler?
Can we nominate someone else?
You have every authority to do so.
I believe the way, and I'll have to go back and look at this honestly, but I believe it requires the mayor to make the nomination and y'all to confirm.
Gotcha.
I believe it doesn't work in reverse. I don't.
So you could cancel Ms. Holder, and I can bring another one back to you next month.
Can that person serve on this commission?
They can. We've had that before, correct?
But yes, but this position requires an attorney.
It does.
Yeah.
So the person would have to be an attorney here?
Sure.
Yes. And that exists too. Yes, sir. Commissioner Smith?
Mr. Chairman, if that's the case, is there any attorney on our commission that'd be interested in that position?
I nominate Mike Kurtz.
I'll second.
We have had, in reality here, we've had that conversation with Commissioner Kurtz before because this position does require an attorney according to Mr. Luber. And I had talked to Mr. Kurtz about doing this. He has accepted that when the time comes. And we had that conversation because Mr. Jimmy Comer had let me know that he would not be seeking re-election. So I was looking for someone in that regard off of our board, off of our commission, that could kind of keep us in a loop there with that board. And so that conversation has happened. I can make that recommendation to you if you're going to deny my recommendation to start with Ms. Holder. So I would take that one first. You deny that one, if that's what you choose to do, and then I'll give you another one.
I guess I need to ask,
Kurtz even, would you serve in that capacity?
If it came from the Mayor Hutto, I would serve.
Mayor, I make a motion to deny poll.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Let the record reflect as unanimous, and so my second recommendation to you would be Commissioner Mike Kurtz.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record reflect as unanimous. Okay. We'll move forward. Report from the Emergency Management Committee, Commissioner Bernard.
No report.
And Emergency Manager Director report, Director Cooper. Yes, sir.
County Commission, good to see you tonight. As far as our calls for last month, 1,606. That gives us a year-to-date total of 11,906. Right now, we were down to one vacancy. I had two resign. One is getting into another field. One is basically retiring, pretty much. He's getting out of it altogether. So I have three open positions right now. As far as what we've done during the fair, I have that attached if you have any questions there. Other than that, started back to local emergency planning committee. We've had 2 meetings so far, so that's going great. Various other meetings and the Indy race this weekend, which went great. The only thing we had was rain and a few pictures took. Other than that, it went great. So nothing happened. So be thankful there. Outside of that, that completes my report unless you have any questions.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, Director Cooper. Report from the Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Kurtz.
Law Enforcement Committee met on Thursday, September 5th, 2024, with a perfect agenda, filed 48 hours ahead of time. We met up here in this conference room. We made, the minutes are in your packet. I make a motion they be received and filed.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Sheriff's report, Sheriff Robert Bryan. It's a rough group.
Thank you, Commissioner Dow. Your report's in your packet. Calls for service is up, pretty big number there. Maybe because school was out, I don't know. It's a lot, up about 800 calls. We're staying busy. The number booked through the jail, 619. The highest daily population was 530, I think, about 6 months ago. I think I was reporting around right at 450 to 475. Some numbers are going on up there. You build it, they will come. They are completely complete with the construction in our facility as relates to the jail. And as far as open positions, we are making some pretty good. We're hiring a lot of people to fill them open positions. We talked about it at budget time, and we're getting real close. So hopefully here in the next month, I can report that we're fully staffed. Inmate work crew, we spent most of the month out there at the fair. It's a long few weeks out there. I'm glad to see it come and glad to see it go. But it was a success. Really, no major happenings out there. Just a large crowd. I will be submitting a report to y'all and the Law Enforcement Committee probably next month about what went on out there with us as far as personnel that was used during that 10 days. SRO, staying busy in the schools. I don't know if Director Luttrell's here. We've added 2 new, huh? Oh, okay, I see him now. We've added a couple of 2 new canines to the schools like we did with the Lebanon Special School District. And that they're out of training and they are in the county schools as we speak. We actually utilized 1 or 2 of them last week, one in Watertown and one in another school. So that's a big success. I'll try to bring them to meet y'all here next couple of months. You've seen a lot on the news, and I said I wasn't going to publicize this. You've seen a lot on the news over the past 2 weeks, especially as it relates to school threats. And to tell you the truth, I didn't want to get on there and give them the fame on TV or in the news, but probably the people that's making these prank calls ain't listening to this. But it's a strain on our personnel. Every time we get one, it's a strain on the school system. And state agencies, it's just, we're dealing with it. I think we dealt with 8 or 10 the past week. But in saying that, it puts a scare tactic in to these schools. Watertown had a big major deal the other day, and it's just going to stop. And we're charging kids. We're in the process. I say we're going to charge some parents. It starts at home, and yeah, we can charge the kids, but the parents are responsible for these kids. And until they understand that they're going to be held responsible, this is going to continue. So that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our approach, and that's just the way it is. And I just want y'all to know we're doing everything we can to prevent them, but in today's social media world, it's hard. And but your SROs and our detectives and the whole sheriff's office, Homeland Security and the police departments, they are working every day to, put the fires out, okay? And it's a major strain. So we'll continue to work on it and pray for our schools. But that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Commissioner Hall.
Thank you for being here, Sheriff. I was in a classroom when the lockdown happened at Watertown. And I just want to thank you and your department and Watertown Police for their response. Even though it turned out to be a hoax, I have never felt safer knowing that the cavalry was coming. And they will take out anybody that threatens our children in Wilson County. And I got one question for you, and this may be a surprise, and hopefully it's not. Would you be in favor of making sure, and I know it will take work and a lot of discussions and funding, but just making sure that we've got at least 2 SROs in every school building in Wilson County?
The more SROs you got, the better you are, okay? That's a funding question. I'm going to throw that back on y'all, okay? I think there needs to be some more for sure in the high schools. And y'all funded some extra roving positions last budget year. But yeah, that could be some discussions, but I'm really concerned about these high schools right now. But yeah, it's a funding thing, but the more you have on the school property, the better you are, and they're doing a great job. That day you're talking about, the cavalry was coming, and the cavalry showed up. Right, Mayor Jennings?
They did.
But, they train how to handle this. But I'm going to tell you something. I heard that phone call come out that day. My heart, because it was so real. And, but it worked out. But I want everybody to understand the cavalry is coming. Not just us. You got police departments, Watertown, Mountain View, Lebanon, they're coming. And Wilson County's different, okay? This county has been responsible over the years, and they put us where we're at right now. And we just need to continue that trend to stay ahead of it the best we can.
Commissioner Dow? Commissioner Breeze?
I just wanted to say
thank you for all the work that was done last week. As a parent of a Green Hill High School student, I did actually go on the news last week. I was called by Fox 17, and
We did too. Don't think we didn't.
oh, trust me, I know you did too. But what I said
But
was,
I see sheriffs all across this country just,
Oh.
and it's stirring it.
right. No, I
Just
understand.
go in there and talk about it and go.
Well, what they did is they cut my statement. So I wanted to correct that this evening because I was really not happy. In fact, I went back and forth with a reporter about 11 o'clock that night because what it made it sound like was that as a parent, I was scared. And yes, I'm scared as a parent, but I think every parent who sends their kids to school are scared. However, I sent my child to school the next day. I know a lot of parents didn't. I know that it was almost like probably half population at both Green Hill and Mount Juliet Middle School, but I sent my daughter to school because I felt completely comfortable and confident that I knew that if anything was going to happen, first off, I knew that you were investigating, but I felt confident in our law enforcement. I felt like my daughter was going to be safe in that building, and that's thanks to you and the SROs and Mount Juliet PD. So thank you for what you do, and thank you to Wilson County Schools as well for taking safety seriously. You're very, very much appreciated as a parent.
And I want to say this too, if there's a situation where we don't think kids need to come to school the next day, believe me, we're going to tell you, okay? We're going to tell you.
Yeah, I told the reporter that too.
Commissioner Gentry?
Yeah, again, thanks, Sheriff, for all that you and your guys do throughout the county, including the schools. Now, on the news in the past few weeks, we've heard about gangs, especially from the illegals. And I know probably in Nashville they have some of that problem. Has it leaked out to our area? Can you give us any indication on that?
There are gangs. There's gangs in every county of the state, okay? But yes, there's gangs in Nashville. Is that bleeding over into Wilson County? Yes. I can sit here and name 2 homicide investigations right now we're working as it relates to gangs coming out of Nashville over into Wilson County. So the drug traffic, yes, it comes across. And it's, yes, that's answer your question, yes.
Commissioner Kurtz?
School safety is one of the things that, well, at least the ins and outs of it can't be discussed in a public meeting under new state law. So without saying the particulars, I'm very versed in what Wilson County School does and especially versed in what Lebanon Special School District does, and both have a layered approach. Commissioner Hall, I'm not sure additional SROs, I'm not saying it's not going to be the answer, but it's going to be a commitment from this body, and I've said it before, a commitment from this body to fund the safety measures that we want to put in place, because this issue, there's 2 things I know that won't go away. Lack of bus drivers, and if anybody wants to drive a bus, both districts are hiring, but lack of bus drivers and the need for enhanced school safety is not going to go away. And this body's got to make a commitment to fund whatever the brain trust of those districts. And I will remind everybody, Lebanon Special School District serves about 16% of students in Wilson County. They live in Wilson County, believe it or not. So I just want to make sure that's clear. But both districts' brain trusts come together, and a lot of times we meet collectively along with the Sheriff's Office, Mount Juliet Police Department, Lebanon Police Department, and Watertown Police Department to discuss school safety. But as things roll in and we make decisions on school safety, it's good that we have parents involved. And we have people in this room right now that both Department of Homeland Security and local law enforcement, all the way around. Sheriff's Office, I think the only one we're missing is maybe somebody with Watertown Police Department. But the commitment and the funding, because everything we do takes money. There's a system out right now that I know both school districts are looking at that the state put out a grant for. And there were 4 school districts across the state that got the grant. And today on a call, one of them said he can't even afford to get the quote. with the amount of money he was given from the state because there's just not enough money to put this into practice. But it's something that both school districts have to have. It's vital in order to get the message out. So I'm sure it's something that's going to be coming down the road. But Sheriff, I thank you for what you do, but this body's got to come up with the money.
Commissioner Chandler?
Sheriff, I know this puts a lot of fear in our communities when these threats come out. And just know that I'm here, and hopefully the law enforcement committee in this body will be here to support you if there's any softwares or resources that can help you speed up these investigations. You know, even in my head, I'm thinking with the amount of threats that are coming through now, that has to be taxing on their detectives that obviously have other crimes to be investigating. And if it's even where you need detectives that are specialized in investigating these school threats, you know, bring us ideas, bring us anything we can help you to try to reduce the fear in our community and speed up the process on bringing those accountable to justice.
Commissioner Dow? I'm sorry. Commissioner Dow?
I do remember, outside of the city of Watertown, Mount Juliet, and Lebanon, how many people do you think that you're serving? And I was talking to Diane, how many people's in Wilson County?
150,000.
150,000.
Right at
That was 2020 census, so
20.
probably,
158.
yeah, that's what I was.
Plus, your city's done special census too. I don't know where they come in at, though.
Yeah, so. Okay, all right, so.
I think it's.
How many did you say, 150? 160?
150 is where we're at.
That's the last count we had?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, no
Good.
problem.
Other questions for the sheriff? Anybody? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Sheriff. Report from the Education Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Education Committee met September the 5th. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Director of Schools report, Mr. Travis Mayfield.
Mr. Luttrell is out of town at a superintendent's conference, so he asked me to come. I assume this information is in their packet, correct? So you see our enrollment, we are up from end of the year, a little over 300 students. Our student attendance is very well so far this year, a little over 95%. Sheriff Bryan did mention the 2 K-9 units that we have working in the school. What we've done also is stationed one of those on the east side of the county and also on the west side of the county. So we did that strategically so we could have a rapid response when needed. Both of those units can respond to the same incident, which they have in the past weeks on the situations we've been dealing with. Construction updates would be the project at LaGuardo Elementary is progressing. We plan to open that in August, and we are currently working on the zoning for that will be presented at the next board meeting next week. And then the new Central Pike Elementary School, the contract will be approved by the board at the next meeting. I'm sorry, the signed contract. We take all contracts to be signed by the board. That will be done, and then construction will begin shortly after. The current naming of that facility is in process. We have representatives from the school board, community, and the commission. So Mr. Jones is our commissioner who's going to be on that naming committee, and their next meeting is October 3rd. Is there any questions I could answer?
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Mayfield. Report from Public Buildings Committee, Commissioner Weathers.
Mr. Chairman, the Public Buildings Committee met Tuesday, August 27th, here in the courthouse. The meeting, the minutes are in your packet. I move that they be received and filed.
Motion and second, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Committee, Ag Center Management Committee, Commissioner Scruggs. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Animal Control, Commissioner Breeze.
Animal Control met on Thursday, September 5th at 5 p.m. Minutes are in your packet. I move that be received and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Audit, Commissioner Glover.
No report.
Broadband Access, Commissioner Franklin.
Mayor, Broadband Cable Committee met on Monday, August 19th at 6:30.
Minutes are in your packet. I move they be approved and filed.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Develop and Tourism, Commissioner Brown.
No report.
Ethics, Commissioner Dow.
No report.
Finance, Commissioner Costley.
Finance Committee met September 5th in the upstairs conference room. The minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Commissioner Hall.
Mr. Mayor, I just have
a procedural question. There is an error in the minutes. Do we just wait to the next Finance Committee meeting to correct those, or can we correct them now?
Correct them
now.
Okay. The error is concerned. It says in the absence of Chairman Costley, Vice Chairman Blake Hall called the meeting to order. I'm not the Vice Chairman, but Vice Chairman Bowman was also not able to attend, so I just held the meeting. So I just wanted to correct, I'm not the Vice Chairman.
Okay. We'll
Fix that.
We'll make the corrections.
My bad. You got anything you want to be called, or you just want to be Blake Hall?
Vice Chairman Pro Tem.
Can we take nomination of one to go?
Any other conversation? All in favor say aye. Health and Recreation, Commissioner Smith.
no report.
Insurance, Commissioner McFarland.
No report.
Judicial, Commissioner Gentry.
Judicial Committee met 19th August. Move that the minutes be received. Second.
I got a motion, a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Legislative Ad Hoc, Commissioner Costley.
No report.
Planning and Zoning, Commissioner McFarland.
Plan zone met on Thursday, September 5th. The minutes are in your packet. Move to be approved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Rules, Commissioner Keith.
No report.
Urban Type Facility Board, Commissioner Scruggs.
Urban Type Facility Board met September 6th. Minutes on the back. Steve and Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Finance Director's Report, Mr. Aaron Maynard.
Two quick things tonight. Pardon me. The first one is a report on debt obligation. It's in your packet. It's for the bonds that were issued for the multi-level court system. The debt amount of the bonds was $77,555,000. You received a premium of $6,870,818.40. Your true interest cost is 3.672084%. You paid the following fees in connection with the bond issue. Financial advisor fees to Stevens Inc. of $87,500. Legal fees for the bond counsel, Bassberry and Sims, of $60,000. Legal fees, the issuer's counsel is $2,500. Rating agency fees to Standard & Poor's, $47,500. Paying agent fees to U.S. Bank of $750. Printing and advertising fees to iPrio, $1,638.75. And underwriter's discount to Raymond James and Associates, $222,586.34, for a total cost of issuance of $422,475.09. There is also an amortization schedule on that thing in your packet as well, if you're interested in seeing it. But that's what we're required to report. Read into the minutes. Secondarily, we discussed recently about doing some budget workshops. This idea kind of started back around the passing of the budget, when I realized there was some confusion about some of the methodology that is used in putting the budget together, specifically as it relates to turn back money. There was definitely some confusion there. And as I thought about it, understanding that this was a year where we were doing a pay study and where people were really looking for funds, I thought the best way to do this might be through a series of work sessions, but I definitely don't want to be the one to call them, because this is really up to you whether or not you want to do it. And it's not really about me standing up here and talking. It's really about you. There's some things I've learned that need to be communicated. There's other things, though, that I just need to know what your questions are, because I can't answer your questions if I don't know what they are. And lately, it was sort of a surprise to me leading up to, I was all of a sudden, a day or two before, I was hearing, well, some people may vote against the budget over turn back money issues. So, again, I can't answer your questions if I don't know what they are. And if you want that opportunity to look for where you might be able to find funds inside your currently existing budget, that time is not May. May is too late. So I really am not pushing this. I'm offering the opportunity. I would welcome your questions and the ability or the opportunity to answer them as best I can. But this is up to you. So I was asked to mention this by Commissioner Smith at the last Budget Committee meeting. That's the driving force behind it. It's us to have the opportunity to have an open dialogue to figure out when and where there might be funds available. So enough said. That concludes my report unless you have any questions for me.
I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the workshops.
Okay.
Just have Mr. Maynard to schedule those, and I think if you'd like to send questions to Mr. Maynard for him to discuss, that would be a good thing. So just to forward those questions to him, and then we'll let you organize those, Mr. Maynard, and go forward.
Certainly.
Commissioner Breeze?
I know we've been chasing that elusive AAA bond rating.
Yes.
See that we're AA plus again.
Yes.
So not that I want to actually pay for 2 rating agencies, but have we ever considered going out to look for Fitch or Moody's and having them assess us, and would that make a difference?
Potentially. So you can do what's called a preliminary rating, where basically you get an indication, where you get an indication of what their rating might be. It does cost you to do so. But it doesn't cost you the full amount. So we have, in fact, we've had some conversations with Moody's quite recently.
Okay. I don't know if we've got any other big projects that we're going to have to bond out as to whether or not it would matter at this point, but if we did have some in the horizon.
Well, I think we've got another elementary school we just voted to issue on, did we not?
Well, that's true. I didn't know it hadn't already been bonded out, because I knew we had approved it.
That one won't have to go through ratings and the whole bit, just the same. So that is, it's possible. That's all I can say. I mean, I would recommend that possibly you, so the conversations that we've had with Moody's have centered around a preliminary indication that basically if we didn't like what we were hearing from Moody's, in other words, if it was the same or worse, because it could be the same or worse, that basically their rating just goes away. It's never officially done. So we stay with S&P where the rating is higher.
If we wanted to do that, do I need to make a motion now?
I think we're kind of moving in that direction anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Mr. Mayor, can you just kind of educate, I know this is probably for one of those budget workshops that you've been advertising tonight, but can you just educate me on the bond rating and just, I guess, answer this question? Is a bond rating kind of like a credit score?
Exactly like a credit score.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Very
All right.
apropos way to put it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Other questions for Mr. Maynard?
Don't ask me to spell apropos, please.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Aaron, thank you so much for your office willing to do this for us. I know that I remember back when we were talking about getting the play plan going and moving forward, and us really wanting to take care of our employees, our county employees. It's very important. I remember the phrase that you said that, you're out of pulling rabbits out of hats. I mean, you're out of finding money or to the point of being able to fund as much as what we're funding now. So I think it's important that we do pay attention as county commission about how much this is going to cost, and if at the end of the day the question is going to come up, are we willing to fund it, and how you're going to fund it. That's something that we always have to remember, because we're getting a lot of data. We're asking for a lot of data for this pay plan. At the end of the day, we can collect all this data, but how are we going to fund it? So thank you so much for putting together these workshops to help us to understand our budget, and hopefully we can find just a little bit more money, but
I appreciate the vote of confidence, and I'm looking forward to it.
Other questions? To your motion to approve the report? Second. All in favor, say aye. Report from Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Budget Committee met September the 5th, upstairs conference room. Minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Resolutions, Commissioner Marlowe.
Resolution 24-9-2, approving Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 2025-02.
Do I hear a second? Got a motion and a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. "24 yes, 1 absent." Resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-3, approving a lease agreement for judicial commissioners.
Do I hear a second? Got a motion and a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Mr. Marlowe. Mr. McFarland. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
23 yes, 1 no, 1 absent.
23 yes, 1 no, and 1 absent. Resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-4, to amend the budget and appropriation resolution for line item transfers in the Sheriff's Department.
Second. Got a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, are you ready to cast your vote? Please cast it. Mr. Marlowe. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-1, resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-5, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, to make an appropriation to the Sheriff's Department.
Motion is second. Discussion now? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-1, resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-6, to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, to make an appropriation to the Sheriff's Department.
Got a second? Got a motion and a second now. Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-1, resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-7, to approve the Adoption Ready Grant contract and to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, to make an additional appropriation into libraries.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote?
Dow.
Commissioner Dow?
It ain't good. But yes.
We good now?
You good now?
All in favor? I'm sorry, never mind. Please record.
24-1.
24-1. Resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-8, to make an appropriation from the Capital Projects Fund to building improvements.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
24-1.
24 and 1, resolution passes.
Resolution 24-9-9, revising a recently adopted resolution that involved fees outlined in the original resolution.
Hear a motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Hey, Mike, need a motion to substitute the last one? Huh? Gotcha. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
23 yes, 1 no,
23-1, resolution passes.
Do we need to make a motion to substitute?
You need to put the one that was in the packet, need a motion and a second, and then a motion to substitute the one that's on your desk. I misread the information that was sent to me and put the wrong date in there. So what we're doing is correcting the date. I'm sorry.
Make a motion to substitute.
The one where you've got to provide proof by October 1, 2024. I put in there September 1, 2025. That was inaccurate.
You changed the date, right?
That's right.
Okay, Resolution 24-9-10 to provide for education incentive payments to county legislative body members.
Got a motion to approve that? Motion. And a second. Now need a motion to substitute?
Motion to substitute 24-9-10, substitute.
Okay. I got a motion to substitute and a second. All in favor say aye on that. Aye. Now we're ready to vote on the resolution as substituted. If you're ready to vote, no discussion, please cast your vote. Are we good? Nope. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
2 yes, 2 no, 1 absent.
Resolution passes. Any old business to come before this body tonight? Commissioner Fields.
My fellow veterans, I'm going to take the opportunity to mention to everybody tomorrow is Constitution Day. We took an oath to swear and to defend that piece of document, so I would honor that, and I would hope that you would familiarize yourself with what's in it, since it's under attack, seems like from both parties right now. So tomorrow is Constitution Day.
Thank you for that. Any other old business to come before the body? New business? One more motion. We are adjourned.